This morning, we have our eyes on the roads, making sure that you know the conditions before you head out the door.
Tariffs are about making America rich again.
Plus, the president defends tariffs in his address to the American people and how local farmers are reacting. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3. Now this morning, it's Wednesday. I'm Kyrie Lee.
And I'm Chris Stanford. Thanks for joining us this morning. We have a lot of activity on the radar this morning. Right now, it's just rain in our immediate viewing area.
Yes, just raining, but not for long. But first, let's take a live look at road conditions. But first, I guess we can give you a look here at the school closings. We do have a few rolling in this morning. We had 6 at last checked, but again, some of those are a mixture of closures and virtual learning. So, looks like our list has actually gotten even bigger now.
Yeah, we're up to 12.
Yeah, we have Wisconsin Dells schools, Westfield schools, Sauk Prairie, and it looks like Baraboo schools have been added to that list here in the past few minutes.
Yeah, these are some of the communities that are going to start to see snow earlier than us down here in Dane County. So it's an evolving situation this morning. We've got kind of a messy day to go through today. Let's check in with Savannah Brito now. She's out on the patio to make sure that we know exactly what we're in for.
Good morning, guys. Well, we're in for rain early, but then, yeah, we'll be talking about that transitioning over to snow. I don't think that's going to happen until mid to late morning. Our current temperature is still very mild. We're at 40. We do have a wind chill making it feel a bit cooler, 33, and our winds slowly are going to pick up. This is one of our sky cams overlooking downtown Madison. You can see very foggy outside. Visibilities are very low with that transition in from some rain to snow. That's for the most part west of even Wisconsin Dells this morning, but still some spotted to even widespread showers across most of Dane County and the Madison area. We'll talk about how strong winds are going to be and who is seeing the winter weather alerts currently. That's coming up in just a bit.
All right, we'll talk to you then. All right, let's get out to the live drive now. Michelle Renee Quinn is driving around the Wisconsin Dells area. They're one of the school districts that just called off less than 15 minutes ago. That came in at 5:49. And you can see it's wet up there, but this is where it's going to start transitioning over into snow earlier than us down here in Dane County. We'll keep driving around and showing you those conditions as the transition happens this morning. And keep in mind, you can always track the weather yourself with the free First Warn weather app. Download it wherever you get your apps. 6:03 now. President Donald Trump could unveil trade deals with Mexico and Canada as soon as today. That's according to the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick.
Today, President Trump is set to meet with the Canadian Prime Minister. Meanwhile, Vice President J.D. Vance is set to visit the southern border. Lutnick says the deals probably won't mean pausing the 25% tariffs on Mexican and nearly all Canadian goods that started yesterday. Mexico's president says she plans to announce retaliatory measures on Sunday. Canada is imposing a 25% tariff on some U.S. goods now, with plans to include more later.
Well, this all comes as President Trump addressed a joint session of Congress and the American people last night. He was met with a warm welcome from Republicans, but an icy one from Democrats. The speech had just started when Texas Democratic Representative Al Green repeatedly interrupted the president. Eventually, he had to be escorted away. Now, Republican lawmakers are considering censuring Green. Michigan freshman Senator Elise Slotnick delivered the Democratic response.
America wants change, but there's a responsible way to make change and a reckless way. And we can make that change without forgetting who we are as a country and as a democracy.
During the president's speech, he said, America is back, promising to lower prices, bring peace around the world, and safety to the U.S. border. He also defended his tariff plan.
Tariffs are about making America rich again.
The president also pledged to put reciprocal tariffs on other countries next month.
Locally, tariffs have some farmers worried. In Wisconsin, 90% of dairy is made into cheese. 40% of the cheese exported from the United States goes to Mexico. One dairy farm owner in Merrill says he feels the president didn't think about farmers when making this decision.
You know, when it comes to milk production or making cheese and the economy of the state of Wisconsin, it's just simply lost on him. How could he know that? But that means getting input from those folks who are in the trenches.
One agriculture expert says tariffs could decrease the price of milk and cheese domestically if the local demand increases. 40% of all U.S. dairy went to Canada, China, and Mexico last year.
Some businesses say they'll have to raise prices because of the new tariffs. Target's CEO said that its produce could cost more starting as soon as this week, since a lot of it comes from Mexico. Best Buy also warning of price hikes since it gets a lot of its electronics from Mexico and China.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he's committed to peace after a tense meeting with President Trump at the White House. In a social media post, Zelensky said the meeting did not go the way it was supposed to and that it's regrettable. Trump read the message during his speech to Congress. Trump said he appreciates it. He adds that there's a need to talk to both sides in order to end the Russia-Ukraine war.
Well, the new education secretary says that she is making good on President Donald Trump's campaign promise for cuts at the Department of Education. It's laid out in a letter by Linda McMahon titled, "Our Department's Final Mission." The takeaway is that she wants to send control of education back to the states. She wants to do that by removing red tape and barriers to allow parents to make the best educational choices for their children. She wants schools to focus on math, reading, science, and history, not DEI programs and gender ideology. Next steps include working with Congress now and other federal agencies to determine the best path forward. State Superintendent Dr. Jill Underly responding to that letter in a statement of her own, warning of potential impacts to Wisconsin students, saying disrupting our education system with a vague and underdeveloped plan could have devastating consequences for Wisconsin's children, teachers, schools, and communities for generations to come.
The United States Champion Cheese Contest is underway in Green Bay. In other news this morning, it's drawing over 2,250 entries from 31 states. Yesterday marked the start of the preliminary judging round, and they were open to the public. Products are judged on things like flavor, body, texture, salt, color, finish, and packaging.
Sign me up.
So lots of things to look into. I'm learning more and more. There's more competitions here in Wisconsin than I've seen in any other state.
Well, what else are you going to do?
At least that I've lived in, at least.
Oh,
got the water competition. I'm still stuck
You're
on that
bringing up
one.
the water competition.
The tap water competition. That's the tasting of the tap water. Now we have the cheese judging. I mean, it's only
Oh
right,
gosh,
though.
there are lots of cheese contests
Yes.
Across the state. And we host a lot of them. I want to get on one of those judging panels. I got to find out what do I have to do to get on one of those judging panels.
On the cheese judge panel.
I'll just.
The day might not end well for you after that, but but at least you'll be there. At least you'll be there.
I'll need a lot of awards. I'll toss out awards like Oprah. We'll be like,
Yeah,
you get an award,
awards.
you get an award, you get an award. They
Can't
all
pick
win.
one. Well, let's get to the big story today. That's the weather. Savannah, what's coming up?
Yeah, we're talking about some snowfall, that transitioning already from the rain to snow northwest of Madison, and that's actually where we have winter weather alerts. We'll talk about how much snowfall areas all across southern Wisconsin. We'll see.
And we're live at the Rock County Historical Society in Janesville this morning, checking out their newest exhibit. We're going back in time in the 608, learning history on historic wedding gowns and firearms next.
Watching News 3 Now this morning, moving forward.
Hey, we're back here at 6:12 on your Wednesday. Let's see what's going on in the 608, shall we? We got a new exhibit at the Rock County Historical Society to talk about. They're highlighting historic wedding gowns and firearms.
Very cool.
Two things that go together.
It's a little off. But Josh Prider's going to get us. Josh Prider's going to tell us all about how they coincide with
Wedding
one another.
gowns, firearms. Tell us how they're bringing these two together, Josh.
Hey guys, good morning to you. Yeah, we got two really cool things that we're talking about here at the RCHS. We're starting in the Visitor Center and Museum this morning. Vicki Martin is one of the volunteers here. Vicki, good morning to you.
Good morning, Josh. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm wonderful. Okay, so we're talking historic wedding gowns and firearms. How are these connected?
Well, they're both artifacts from our collection, so that's how they're connected. We have just amazing artifacts, and I'm going to tell you about the gun collection.
You know, these really bring us back in time.
That's what artifacts always do. They help you imagine the people who used them. So if I can show you some of our special ones.
Please do.
Gun enthusiasts will love this volcanic repeating firearms pistol. And this is a pretty unique one. Look at this little pocket pistol over under flintlock, and we have a lovely set of those. George and Alice Tallman purchased these mostly in the 1930s and 40s, and we have about a dozen pepper boxes. This is unusual because of the size of the barrel.
These are all so unique, and I mean, they don't make them like this anymore.
You said that. For example, look at this one. It has an elephant ivory grip carved in the Mexican crest. This was purchased by George and Alice Tallman in 1934.
Oh my
in
gosh.
Mexico, of
That's
course.
almost 100 years ago.
So this is a Colt 1849, and that is, of course, was a popular gun throughout the West.
So why showcase these guns? Why is it important to do that?
Because, like, for example, look at this cannon barrel blunderbuss flintlock. When you look at this, don't you just think of pirates?
I really do.
Boy, pirate in you. You know, you only get one shot, so it's awfully handy to have a dagger there at the end, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So this exhibit is open right now, so folks can come check out. I mean, these are just a few of the ones you have on display.
Just a few. We have 60-plus guns that were all the tools of settlers, scoundrels, and soldiers.
Oh my gosh, that's so
May
cool.
I show you one of these that was used by the Confederate soldiers. The bottom barrel is a 66 caliber barrel. The top is 42 caliber. This is a Lamat made in France because, of course, they didn't have gun manufacturers in the South.
Wow. Okay, so how long do people have to be able to come check these out for themselves?
It's this weekend and next weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11 until 4.
So this is obviously in the Museum Center. We also have the gowns right next door in the Tallman home. That's what we'll be heading next. So, I mean, there's really something for everyone here.
There is. In fact, women love to see this little 4-inch baby hammerless that Miss Mary Lutke carried in her purse.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then you're going to learn local history. These guns are both stamped that they were made here in Janesville. You'll learn more about the makers of these guns when you come to our exhibit.
Oh, I love that. Well, Vicki, thank you so much for the tour this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yes, you bet. Of course, if you'd like to learn more, you can go to channel3000.com. We'll be heading next door and checking out those historic wedding gowns in our next half hour, guys. So pretty cool stuff, learning about some rich Janesville history.
All right, Josh, tell him thanks for showing us around. Appreciate it.
And remember to let Josh know what inspires you in the 608. You can reach out either on social media or email us at inthe608@WISC-TV.com for a chance to be featured.
All right. Hey, we're waiting on that rain to transition over into snow. Our live drive's been driving around the Wisconsin Dells area. That's one of the communities where they have called off school for today, and we're going to start to see that rain transition into snow. Here in southern Wisconsin, we got some rain overnight, some more on the way. Let's check in with Savannah Brito to find out when we're going to see that snow today. Hey there.
Yeah, guys, I think we won't see that snow until later, mid to late morning. Then most of the area should, but for now we are tracking a couple of spotty showers, a few heavier ones across Dane County in the Madison area. We got spotty ones just northeast of Madison, Cottage Grove, Sun Prairie, south of Stoughton, and a few near Belleville, southwest of Fitchburg, a few by Cross Plains as well. So spotty throughout Dane County, but outside of that, we are seeing that transition. This has been the case the last couple of hours. Lone Rock, Prairie du Chien, Viroqua, La Crosse, Black River Falls, all seeing snow now because their temperatures up there are cooler. Slick spots and lower visibility is also associated with the precipitation. Wisconsin Dells pretty much solely seeing rain still at this point in time. That's because temperatures are still warm up there as well. This is all rainfall since what we got overnight yesterday into the overnight hours. About 1.5 inches close to the Janesville area. We're looking at 1 inch, 1.5 inches near Madison. A little less where those spotty green patches are by Platteville, northeast of Platteville anyways, closer to 1/2 inch. But there are several areas checking in with 1.5 inches to 2 inches. That's really southeast of Wisconsin Dells and near Watertown. That was basically in the forecast, those localized higher amounts. We're still sitting at 40 here in Madison, though, 8 miles and low visibilities. This is a picture over Platteville right now, one of our weather cameras, and you can see lower visibilities. That's affecting most of southern Wisconsin right now, and that'll continue to fluctuate. Temperatures fall through the rest of the day, though, and winds are really going to increase. That's also something that's going to affect your day and why we're keeping that alert day in place. But I think the later into the morning we get, more areas basically still southwest and west of Madison, seeing that transition. For us across Dane County, we're looking at that close to that 10 a.m. hour. I think 9, 10 a.m. most of the area will start to see that transition. Areas well east of Madison and even east of Jefferson still seeing rain. And then everyone will see that transition as we head closer to lunchtime, and that will run through about 6 p.m. All winter weather alerts are basically north of just the Madison area. We do not have a winter weather advisory here for Dane County. We still could see 1 to 2 inches at the most. Areas north and west of the Dells, though, seeing a better chance of that accumulating snow in localized higher amounts. We've also got a wind advisory advisory that'll be in place for most of the area, 11 to 9, slightly later for areas east of Madison. And then a much calmer day ahead tomorrow. Our winds come down some. We see sunshine and a high of 40.
Four teams in Wisconsin women's hockey history have won the WCHA regular season title, the league's tournament title, and a national championship all in the same season. This year's team is already a third of the way there and heads to Duluth for the WCHA Final Face-Off semifinals. 2 wins this weekend, and Mark Johnson's squad defends their tournament title. And as the favorites, you'd think there'd be pressure. Well, not for this group.
Pressure, people say is a privilege, and so it's about what we can do. It's about what we're capable of doing collectively as a group, and then can you go on the ice and execute that for 60 minutes? And at times, we do that really well. And so, as you get late in the season, you enter the playoffs. For this 2 weeks, can you do that? And we'll find out Friday.
And just a reminder to check out our final Wisconsin Huddle of the season. Kirsten Sims stops by to preview UW's matchup with Duluth. Show airs at 6:30 on Friday, right here on News 3 Now. The Wisconsin women's basketball team looks to snap a 30-game losing streak to Iowa tonight when they tip off postseason play in the Big Ten tournament. And you can expect a big game from Sarah Williams, because that's what she's done every night for the Badgers. On Tuesday, Williams was tabbed first team All-Big Ten and found herself again on the league's all-defensive team. She's the first Badger to earn multiple first-team All-Conference honors in nearly 2 decades. Fresh off a WIAC tournament title, Platteville took home a handful of conference honors. For the second straight season, Jeff Gard was named the league's Coach of the Year for leading the Pioneers to a 25-2 record. And for the second straight season, Logan Pearson took home the conference's Player of the Year award. Pearson averaged nearly 20 points and 5 boards this season. High school boys hoops, Highland hosting Wazeeka Steuben, and their dynamic duo was at it again, scoring a combined 46 points for the Cardinals. They fly by and advance with a 30-point win. They'll face Ithaca on Friday night. And that's it for morning sports. Have a great day.
You too, Zach. Still ahead, a new milestone in the NBA. And a new way to eat salad.
We're back after this.
Hey, we're back. Time to talk about what's trending this morning. Talking about a new invention, slinging out salad at a school in Connecticut. Check it out. It's a touchless salad bar dispenser. Genius.
This is awesome.
Look at that.
The grocery stores that have salad bars need this.
Yep. Right?
No
How
one has
convenient.
to touch it.
So it's all kept at room temp. It's kept at a uniform temperature.
Not room
I should say.
temperature.
Not room temperature. It's chilled, but it's never touched by human hands or otherwise exposed to contamination sources. So it's also a lot more sanitary.
Yes, because I just don't like the idea of the salad bar being out in the open, people coughing and hacking, and there you go.
Touching all the utensils that you use to get everything. Yeah.
Exactly.
Love
I
it.
like this.
Now to a new milestone in the NBA. Last night, LeBron James became the first player in league history to reach 50,000 points. 40 years old, still going strong. What do you think, Kyrie? You know the NBA.
Yeah, my husband's a Laker fan, so this is a big milestone. Congrats, LeBron. Don't know when he's going to let up.
Representing those 40-year-olds like me. All right. Hey, we're back with those road conditions after this. Address to Congress in Trump's second term. How the president is highlighting his term so far, and reaction from both sides of the aisle.
Plus, we've got you covered on the road conditions this morning. A look at today's precipitation and school closings on this alert day.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning on a Wednesday. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Lee. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. We're halfway through the week and dealing with some uncertain conditions. Well, we know what's going on, but it's a little up and down today.
It's an alert day. We know that. It was yesterday and today were the trouble spots in the forecast. So let's get out of this messy stretch that we're in, because we got some really nice weather to talk about. We got to get to today first. We're up in the Wisconsin Dells area, driving around on the live drive, where we're going to see snow transition out of this rain here before too long. Wisconsin Dells, one of the school districts that are closed this morning. We're up to 16 closures now, a lot of them up to the north and to the western part of our viewing area. We're going to keep driving around and showing you these conditions as things change throughout the morning.
That's right. Well, let's check in with meteorologist Savannah Brito, who's out on the patio this morning. Savannah, what are we seeing out there?
Yeah, for the most part, lots of rain that we're seeing, especially here locally across Madison and Dane County. There are still heavy showers too northeastward, but you can see all the blue on radar. That's all the snow. So basically still west of Wisconsin Dells, up near La Crosse, Black River Falls, Viroqua, all those places that have cooler temperatures out there. We're still sitting at 40 right now in Madison, too warm to see snow. We are forecasting a little bit of a wind chill out there, but areas that are up near La Crosse, Viroqua, and Black River Falls seeing that snow, that's where temperatures are closer to freezing level. Even the Dells still sitting at 38 currently, but temperatures are going to fall through the rest of the day. The warmest part right now, and we'll gradually continue to see that rain transition into snow. We'll talk about when everyone will see that transition coming up.
Savannah, thank you. And again, here's a look at our list of school closings on channel3000.com right now. As Chris mentioned, we are up to 16 closings now, getting some of those within the past hour here. Some of them are closed while others are, transitioning to virtual learning today. But of course, we do have those closings scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now. So if you don't want to wait, you can see the full list right now on channel3000.com. Just open up the menu on the left and click school closings and delays.
You can stay on top of the alert day conditions. You can track that rain transition into snow yourself. Just download the free First Warn Weather app. All right, let's get to our top stories out of Washington this morning. President Donald Trump says he intends to continue carrying out his agenda.
He made that promise and many others in an address to Congress last night. Trump touted much of what he has done in the first 6 weeks of his second term. He highlighted his executive orders and early legislative steps to carry out his agenda. Trump also praised the work of Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. He highlighted some of the spending cuts they've taken.
$40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of.
Republicans in Congress are largely praising the address. They applauded much of what he said. But just minutes into the president's speech, Texas Congressman Al Green got escorted away after he disrupted the speech. Meanwhile, other Democratic members largely remained silent and held up signs in protest. Congressman Brian Stile from Wisconsin's 1st District spoke on what he views as the aim of the speech as a whole.
Despite the fear-mongering of some on the left, this is really an opportunity to make sure the American people understand that as we work to reduce the total cost of the federal government, to bring spending under control, to lower inflation, what type of spending we are looking to address to ultimately get our country back on track.
Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin reacting to the speech last night, saying, "We heard more of the same from the president, pointing fingers and playing politics, not outlining real solutions that help Wisconsin families and businesses. My phones have been ringing off the hook with Wisconsinites who want answers from President Trump. And tonight, he did nothing to ease their very real fears."
We are the union! Mighty, mighty union! Mighty, mighty union!
Meantime, federal workers continue to protest. Before the address last night, members of AFGE demonstrated outside the Office of Personnel Management building. The workers protested the mass firings made by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. They also showed opposition to the Trump administration's wider efforts to shrink the federal government.
This isn't about efficiency. No. This is about control. Yeah. DOGE and the forces behind this takeover want to politicize the very agency that protects federal workers. Yeah.
The union represents more than 800,000 federal employees, including more than 1,000 workers at OPM.
6:35 to an update this morning. The woman suspected of attacking a Madison bus driver leading to a crash is now in custody. The woman has been identified as Raven Johnson. Online records showed tentative charges of disorderly conduct, battery to a public transit operator, and second-degree recklessly endangering safety. We at News 3 Now do not normally name people accused of crimes until they're formally charged in court. However, because of the nature and severity of the incident, we are naming her here. The attack caused a Madison Metro Transit bus to crash into the Asian House restaurant on the city's east side. A police investigation found the passenger attacked the driver, causing them to lose control and crash. The crash heavily damaged both the Asian House restaurant and QPS employment. The delay in arrest is due to the suspect leaving the scene before police arrived.
At the state capitol, a new bill aims to lower the cost of prescription drugs. The legislation would reform pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, by increasing transparency, access, and safety. In theory, PBMs are middlemen hired by insurance companies to manage and negotiate better prices for patients' prescription drug benefit programs. But in practice, the three largest PBMs control 89% of drug claims.
This was initially a good thing. It simplified the process for everyone. However, today, PBMs are vertically integrated Fortune 500 companies. This means that the parent company of the PBM can own the manufacturer, insurance company, and pharmacies itself.
It's called Cole's Act. It honors Cole Schmitnick, who relied on inhalers for his asthma. At one point, the inhalers rose in cost from $66 to $539. This led to him delaying getting more inhalers, and he ultimately died of an asthma attack.
Opioid deaths in Wisconsin are at their lowest level in the past 4 years, and now the Wisconsin Policy Forum says local governments should take action. Wisconsin will receive around $780 million from opioid-related settlements through 2038. 30% of that goes to the state government. The remaining 70% goes to local governments. This includes Dane County, which is a part of the suit. Ari Brown is the author of the Wisconsin Policy Forum report. He says although numbers are trending downward as the money comes in, one does not necessarily cause the other.
The fact that they're happening at the same time is at least interesting. And I think, is a sign to leaders in state government and in these local governments, telling them, this is the time to really tackle the problem.
Wisconsin is receiving $36 million in opioid settlement payments in fiscal year 2025. This will be distributed into actions like community-based prevention programs, public awareness campaigns, and harm reduction projects. Dane County has a subcommittee that decides how the funds are used.
A longtime Menominee Department of Agriculture director, now on the state's Ag Board. Governor Tony Evers announced that Gary Besaw of Kenesha has begun his term with DADCAP. He'll serve as a consumer representative until his term ends in 2029. Besaw currently serves as the director of the Menominee Tribal Department of Ag and Food Systems. Well, if you're looking to get out hunting this year, there's a new safety course you can take. The Rock County Sheriff's Office is organizing it. The first of 3 sessions is Tuesday, March 25th. It's at 6 in the evening. The second and third sessions are on April 5th and 6th. They both start at 8:30 in the morning. If you were born after 1972, you are required to take a course to legally hunt in the state. You can find more details, including a link to enroll at this story, on our website.
Well, let's check in with Savannah. What's coming up?
We're still tracking alert day conditions. A lot of the area is still seeing heavy rain that will transition into snow, though, all across the area, and some pretty strong winds. We'll talk about all that coming up.
Plus, guns and gowns in the 608. We're going back in time to the Rock County Historical Society this morning, learning some rich history for the Janesville area. That's next.
Watching News 3 Now this morning, moving forward.
We're back at 6:42 this morning. We're out in our live drive this morning. And right now we are in the Wisconsin Dells, where we are expecting to see a transition from the rain to some snow later this morning. But of course, we are keeping an eye on those road conditions as you're headed out for your morning commute.
Got some school closings, some of them coming in after the 6 a.m. hour started here. The list is up to, what are we at, 16 or so school closings in the viewing area. A lot of them calling off this morning. Some of them are doing virtual. A lot of those communities to the north and to the west where we're going to see that transition happening earlier. And some of those areas are already seeing snow this morning. So keep watching the bottom of your screen for those school closings, or you can always go to channel3000.com for an up-to-the-minute list.
Well, let's check in now with meteorologist Savannah Brito, who's getting us up to date on this alert day. Good morning.
Good morning. Still some spotty showers, but these are starting to break up a little bit, at least across Dane County, but a couple spotty ones near Cottage Grove, Stoughton, and then west of Fitchburg. But still heavy, widespread rain up near the Dells, Fond du Lac, north of Watertown. But some areas, this is spreading a little bit further south. That's seeing the snow now around Platteville. You can see that transition. That's because those air temperatures in the wind direction pulling in the cooler air there already. Rockwell across Black River Falls all have seen that snow and that transition over the last several hours. Also dealing with visibility issues. We're warmest now, still holding on to very warm temperatures in Madison and Dane County, near 40 degrees. Even the Dells is in the upper 30s, still too cold for snow. But eventually we'll see those temperatures fall and then see that transition mid to late morning, and especially by the early afternoon, everyone for the most part will see that transition over to snow. This is 7 a.m. still showing that west of Madison, and then closer to 10 a.m. I think that's when we'll start to see that transition across more of southern Wisconsin, further east anyways. Waukesha, Milwaukee still dealing with rain, and then everyone pretty much after that noon and 1 p.m. time frame will see that snow. That ends though by the early evening, couple of flurries but no accumulating snow anymore, and cloud cover even going to decrease as we get later into the overnight hours. As far as how much snow we can see, I think that's mainly going to be 1 to 2 inches at most for Madison. That's pushing it. And then areas up basically north and west of the Dells that's already seeing that transition and has for the last couple of hours, couple of inches, less the further south you go. We're looking at really breezy conditions already this morning, that leading to some visibility issues, and those are expected to get lower or worsen as that heavier snow moves in and further southward. This is 1 p.m. peak wind gusts reaching about 45 to 50 miles per hour. We'll have that wind advisory go in effect for most of the area 11 to 9 p.m. A little bit later east, though, that's when wind gusts are going to catch up a little bit later and be stronger. Into tomorrow, though, we're still tracking a breezy day, but at least alert day conditions. That's going to end late this evening as winds start to ease some and the snow moves out of here. Sunshine and temperatures are going to be back to 40 tomorrow, so much better day. We got another chance of light snow on Friday and then dry for the next several days after that, including the weekend, and even 60s next week.
All right, tell us again when exactly all of this stuff is going to move out of Dane County today.
Like solely today?
Yeah.
We're looking at like later this evening. 5 to 6, maybe a few flurries, but that'll be like mostly gone by then.
All right. Thanks, Savannah.
Yep.
6:45. Let's see what's going on in the 608 this morning. We have a new exhibit at the Rock County Historical Society to tell you about that's highlighting historic wedding gowns and firearms.
What a combo. Josh Prider is live in Janesville with a sneak peek this morning. Josh?
Hey guys, good morning to you. We're in the Lincoln Tallman home. We've made our way over from the Visitor Center and Museum. Now we're checking out some of those historic wedding gowns. I've got two friends joining us here, Linda and Barb. Ladies, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm wonderful because you're taking us back in time. Linda, I want to start with you. And this event is pretty special for the Janesville area.
It is very special for the Janesville area. We have over 40 wedding gowns here, starting from 1838 through 1927. They reflect the history of southern Wisconsin and Rock County, the immigration patterns that we had from New England and Scotland, Norway, Germany, and Ireland. The dresses reflect the history. We start out with a groom that fought in the War of 1812, and we go through the Civil War, the First World War, the Spanish influenza epidemic, and the styles reflect those changes in history.
And Barb, I would imagine the construction of these dresses is anything but simple.
It's not. They're very complicated, and these were all custom-made dresses. They had sewing machines at that time, but they didn't go to the store and buy them. We do have an inside-out room where you can see the inside workmanship, the wonderful seam finishes, all of the boning and the stays, and the hooks and eyes. There were no zippers at that time. It's fascinating.
Oh my gosh. So, you walk through the Lincoln Tallman home and you're filled with this history. Why is it so important for you guys to showcase all of this?
I think it's important for us to remember these brides and grooms, how they contributed to our history of our state, especially when we're coming up on the 250 celebration of our country. We have a booklet that tells stories about the brides and grooms, so you can read about their history as you're touring the house and looking at their dresses.
And I know some of these that you're looking at right now, they're so different. Explain a little bit about what we're looking at.
Well, we've got several different dresses here that are very different fabric. One has a nap to it. The one that he's looking at now is a beautiful silk taffeta dress, and that fabric, for example, has held up so much better than the silk satin dresses. And the workmanship, you can see all the ruching and the pleats. It all had a purpose. Even the backs of them are very exquisite.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
In all the different colors, Josh. There aren't very many white wedding dresses. That wasn't popular until Queen Victoria got married. There's just great detail here and the history of fashion.
And looking at the dates, I mean, we're looking at 1861 right here. I mean, that's bringing us way, way back.
It is. Our oldest dress is from 1838, and she would be the mother-in-law of the oldest son of the Tallman family. And we also have pieces of her daughter's dress, and they're just stunning, and well preserved by the Historical Society.
All right, so there's still time for folks to be able to come and check them out for themselves. Of course, we have so much history we want to get to, and it's hard to get that in 3 minutes. So when can people come and look at this for themselves?
We are open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., and the show runs through March 16th.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Linda and Barb. Appreciate all the fun facts this morning.
Thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about these historic wedding gowns, again, we showed the guns last half hour. We're going to have more today live at 4, but just go to channel3000.com. I have all the information that you need to know, guys.
Pretty cool.
It is. Very cool exhibit. Get out there and see it starting tomorrow. Josh, thank you.
Josh is always looking for inspiration to share with you folks at home. Got something you want to see on TV? Reach out. Let him know about it.
Coming up in the morning sprint, new projections on worldwide obesity over the next quarter century.
If you have a little kiddo turning 3 soon, send us a picture. We'll show it on TV. We'll be right back. 6:53, time for the morning sprint.
We're keeping an eye on the road conditions this morning. Rain is set to turn to snow. It will make for a messy commute to work and school, of course, this morning. And speaking of school closings, there are several of them right now. They're scrolling across the bottom of your screen. We also have the full list on channel3000.com. Just open the menu on the left and click school closings and delays.
President Donald Trump says he intends to carry out his agenda. That he made that promise and many others within an address to Congress last night. It's his first speech in his second term to the joint session. Trump touted much of what he has done in the first 6 weeks. The speech lasted an hour and 40 minutes.
Texas Congressman Al Green could face a censure from the House. That's because he interrupted President Trump's address by shouting in protest. He called out the president over fears his agenda would lead to cuts to Medicaid. House Speaker Mike Johnson has said Congressman Green should be censured. Around 80 million Americans use Medicaid.
President Trump could unveil trade deals with Mexico and Canada as soon as today. That's according to Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who teased that possibility last night. Trump is set to meet with the Canadian Prime Minister, talk with him today, and Vice President J.D. Vance is set to talk with Mexico. Lutnick says the deals probably won't mean pausing the 25% tariffs on both nations.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is committed to peace. He made the recent comment on social media. That's after a tense meeting with President Trump at the White House on last Friday. Zelensky called the way the meeting transpired regrettable. Trump read the message during his speech to Congress and said he appreciated it.
The woman suspected of attacking a bus driver leading to a crash is now in custody. Raven O'Neill Johnson faces multiple tentative charges. It was a week ago when a Madison Metro Transit bus crashed into a building on the east side. A police investigation found a passenger attacked the driver, causing them to lose control. The suspect ran away before the officers got there.
Climate change could devastate the world's ability to grow food. A study by Aalto University found up to a third of the world's food production could be imminently impacted by rising temperatures. They include staples like rice, wheat, potatoes, and soybeans. The biggest risk is to low altitude regions.
Researchers say more than half of adults and a third of children will be overweight or obese by 2050. A major worldwide study by The Lancet looked into obesity numbers and found that it has doubled over the past 3 decades. It now affects more than 2.5 billion people. Perhaps the most concerning, a surge in obesity among children, especially boys. Numbers are predicted to rise drastically over the next 5 years.
We're still tracking a few spotty showers across Dane County, widespread heavy rain up near the Dells and north of Madison, but we're seeing that transition only northwest of Madison right now. That's because temperatures there are much cooler. We'll eventually see that here by mid to late morning and everyone by the afternoon. It'll also be very breezy. That's why we have the alert day. Wind gusts could approach about 50 miles per hour, but tomorrow much better. So
50 miles per hour, that's insane.
yeah, and visibility loss. You can see that out of Janesville behind you guys.
All right, Savannah, thanks for keeping us updated.
We'll have an update on those road conditions in your next update in a half